the heaven I want to see. You're the promise everlasting. Where you are, I want to be. Hey y'all, what's happening? Uh, only one of these is working, so I wanted to use this microphone to go through, but that's technical difficulty. How y'all doing this evening, man? Came to bring y'all a little evening cheer by way of the Dark Flave Show. Uh, Unitas, man, what's up, my man? Shit, we working on a conversation here. My guest is waiting in the background, so I'm going to bring her up. We're going to talk about a current event. Well, it's been going on. It's a discussion. I don't know if it's so much a discussion, uh, a rivalry. I don't even know what the constructive benefit of it is because the two parties that are having the disagreement are both broke. We're just going to say it like that. We don't have. We still have to run to the white man, just like the immortal bard Nearly Fuller Jr. wrote in this. Well, he stated plenty of times. He said, whatever, no matter how strong you may feel, black man, yellow man, brown man. Well, I guess some brown people, you're always going to end up running to the main. But I don't want to go off the rails too much with that. We're going to have a discussion here now. I'm sure that we might upset some people that we know. I've set this to go to Facebook. I set this to go to YouTube. I also have a Kick channel. Um, really, and I'm going to say, I say that as far as the veil. No, I don't even know if veil is the right word. As far as the infatuation with the notion of foundational Black Americans. What's up, girl? Shit. Basically, all these acronyms y'all came up with. I decided to go with the ancestors, and identify myself by a different moniker. It's a familiar moniker, it's an age-old moniker. But don't let me hold up too long. I'm going to let my guest step to the stage. We're going to welcome Sister Cain, my good Sister Cain. Okay, copy with me saying. Invite guests to studio. I had 10 people. Guests can stream at their own destinations. Okay, I already did that. I want to bring her in. Well, yes. Okay, there we go. I know I did. I'm blind man shuffling, everybody. Sometimes I forget these things. Sister K, what's happening? Can you hear me? Can I
Hey,
hear
what's
you?
happening with you? I can hear you.
Okay, I got you, man. Yeah, yeah, man. You know what it is. I had a few technical difficulties. I tried to come on here and look handsome. For the effect of this discussion that we're going to have. Like
Okay,
I said
okay, looking
before,
good.
thank you very kindly, ma'am. You might make me blush. But the discussion I said earlier, this discussion might make a few people that we know unnerved, upset, chagrined. No matter how it goes, the truth don't need no permission. So without further ado, I'll give you the opening remarks. Can you
I mean,
kind of
every
breaking up a little bit?
hold on,
I
let me
can't
get out of
even
this
really
little
hear you.
dead spot.
Okay, now you
Can you
sound,
hear me now?
yeah, yeah, you good now.
Much better. Okay.
Yeah, much better. The way it needs
I,
to be.
yeah. Okay. Cool. You said it. Everybody broke. Everybody hustling.
And
Whether they do
because it's
Lyft,
like,
Uber, DoorDash, they hustling.
mhm. But this is the
So I mean,
discussion of delineation.
yeah.
Everybody broke, but we're having a discussion. It's tantamount to the needs and um, wants of the general Black American population. I guess why not even include the tethers? I'm so it's because it's like uh the dominant society. I'm
Mm,
playing along. The dominant society doesn't necessarily care, what origin land you come from. They already chose their side. And
mm,
I've said, I've told you before. I said, the FBA, the ADOS movement, they ruined the fight for reparations, as far as I'm concerned. Especially, in regards to like this delineation and this arguing with, with foreign Africans. Why would you argue with people who have no power? I think that it was a distraction strategy. I think it was a distraction strategy by someone who was is in a compromised state. How do you say that? What's the word I'm looking for? Uh, something controlled opposition. That's what I'm looking for. This person is in a state
mm.
of controlled opposition. Uh,
Okay.
they don't necessarily spend a lot of their time standing up or doing anything that might combat, well, no, might make the power of white people uncomfortable. What they do is they foment arguments amongst melanated people. And this argument
Mm-hmm.
has went on for a while. That's like now it's kind of into the mainstream. And as before, when I roll with it, but I mean, because it's facts to it. But at the end of the day, it's cool Africans at my gate, and it's one African I can't motherfucking stand. You know, uh, so I really don't see the constructive benefit. All it did was, it laid itself into exactly what the type of strategy you would think they would be given to control opposition. Get the niggas arguing amongst themselves. That way they won't bother Mr. Charlie.
Mm. That's possible. That's possible.
What do you
Um,
think?
I, s- I say, especially since I feel like that they know the truth. They know that is really not it. That, again, I always go back to us always, being in a simulation. That none of
Mm,
this shit is real anyway. That even white people are being deceived and fooled to think that it's a party problem,
right.
that it's Trump against Biden or it's Democrat against Republican. They're even fooled to believe that we're all deceived, um, and that there's other ways to tap into. I always go back to that. There's other ways to tap into your claim for reparations, and it doesn't have to be by begging someone to give it to you, because if that was the case, they would have implemented a plan a long time ago to do that for us, but that's not their intention.
No, not at all. But just before we get even deeper, Charlie Kirk is left Earth.
Oh, he
Charlie
died.
Kirk. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're not supposed to say that. Not that it
Oh,
matters.
sorry,
Whatever.
sorry,
You good. You
unalive, but
good.
anyway,
We're,
yeah.
we're, we're adults. And that's what my partner sales wrote. They just unalived Charlie Kirk. They shot
Mm.
him in the neck. And the person they said elected, the person said, "I do it again." Um,
Mm.
this, and what gets me is
Prime
that we
example.
have our African American, colored, Negro, and black people, nigga folks like myself. They argue about they be in so much of fear of Donald Trump. He's bring back the Klan, this, that, and the third. But these past violent incidents have been, one thing. The big issue with the last election was that you make sure sexual identity be, everybody should be able to sexually identify or identify as whatever they claim they be. Most of the murders, mass murders, well, like many of the mass murders, have been committed by those who have considered themselves of that identity as trans. So now
Mm-hmm.
you have first you have Donald Trump that they attempted to kill him, but of course there were people who say, "Oh, it was a hoax," it's heresy or whatever. But now you have Charlie Kirk actually dead from bullet wound. But everybody worried about tyrant. I'm not saying I'm standing with them people, but this is what I'm saying when I tell you niggas stay out of the middle of them people business. That ain't your motherfucking business. As far as the migrant shit, the ICE coming here to Chicago, they may be here tonight or tomorrow because they talking about they coming. They ain't telling the mayor or the governor shit. But uh, when they when black people, if I see black people down there protesting with them people, I automatically think they're either paid protesters or dumb and stupid.
Hmm.
Uh, but I don't want to monopolize the discussion. Continue with what you were saying. That we were talking about the FBAs and all that stuff and the arguing back and forth with amongst each other. Uh, Dr. Neely Fuller, well, I'm gonna say Doc rest in
Hmm.
peace, good old Neely Fuller. Dr. Neely
Hmm.
Fuller would say, black people don't need to, to be around each other unless they're doing something constructive. Otherwise, they're gonna end up arguing and squabbling. So, but
Hmm.
continue. I think I done went off on a tangent. So I just sit
No,
there
you're
doing.
actually right on target. No, you're on target because it lines up nicely. Because again, with old boy being unalived, and
Mm-hmm.
and we identify the party, it's just proof positive that whatever narrative that people wanted to run with, it's not going to be you're not going to be able to run with it. The blinders are off. So
Right,
now
right.
it's not a Trump
It's human
problem. Now
nature.
it's not
It
a
ain't
Biden
it ain't
problem.
political affiliation. It's human nature.
It's human
You know,
nature.
and you see how some of these gullible Negroes are being conditioned. Like you had that fool, and you don't expect him to be at the voter poll every election, but the idiot that said we got witches. It's about 100,000 gangs up here. Don't come up here, Trump, nigga. They don't give a damn about you living a dying black male. They trying to get
Mm-mm.
immigrants. They trying to make sure their districts is proper. Because that's all that the Democrats and fortunately all the people in here for was to make sure they maintain territorial control.
That's it. It's just one massa fighting to compete for control on the next term. Everybody's in
Right.
line. Who's next? I want to do this. You gonna do this, or you not gonna do nothing? But either way, you gonna do something, and you're gonna control, and that's what it's about.
The illusion of choice. Because even when you have your Democrat politician, we'll even go as simple as Barack Obama. Didn't nobody know who the fuck Barack Obama lost to Bobby. I forgot my man up here in Chicago, the ex Black Panther. He lost to him soundly, but it wasn't until he got that power pack in his back that he
Hmm.
was able to stand in front stage. He gave a race speech, and as soon as he gave a race speech and was embraced by people, he went and said that that's not how America works.
Right. Right. And again, we all see that. Like I said, I hope people are waking up, and for lack of a better word, I hope they are watching what's going on and really evaluating the reason why a lot of us didn't vote.
Right? They ain't waking up though.
Yeah,
They ain't waking up.
but it's like, if you're not, then shame on you, because it's front and center in our face every day. We're seeing the BS. You guys are so
True.
busy. Everybody's so worried about the Epstein files. Who cares? No one really wants to know what's on those tapes and what we see on those pages
Yeah.
and letters. Nobody really cares.
No, nobody cares. I mean, I've been saying this. I mean, because like, uh, what is that going to do for you? And then what if it
Nothing.
just happens? What if it just happens comes out your favorite Democrat politicians are in there as well? You don't give a fuck. And
Nope.
not even to mention the fact that the people, the actual victims, are doing a press tour right now. They ain't said have they said anything that perked your attention? Oh, Donald Trump sent a card to Epstein. Donald Trump supposedly wrote out bought a young girl, and here's a note. Here's a note that was in the file.
The letter, yeah. So what?
And the thing about it, in my mind is somewhere. But thing about it is, this man has ran for president twice. They
Right.
had to pull up some fake RussiaGate shit. You think if they had actual evidence, even if it is in some type of file, they wouldn't have bought that out there and just knocked him out the box. They had evidence. We seen images of Biden smelling kids and kissing them on their neck and just weirdo shit.
Just
Got the But when his daughter came out, said she couldn't get out the shower. He couldn't get out the shower. Where he going to stay in the shower with her,
You got his son on video snorting cocaine. Stop it.
smoking crack,
Smoking crack, snorting cocaine. He was doing it all.
and now he trying to position himself to be a political leader.
Of course, he know he'll win. He know he'll at least be in the running, because that's the criteria to run. You got to be a creep, a weirdo, a crackhead, and also not be able to do anything for black people. You got to be all of the above. Because what people fail to realize about these political parties is that the only difference between the two is that one doesn't believe in abortion. And then I'm gonna take it a step further. People is
Both
really
of
not
them.
doing, yeah, they both right. So
And then, like my mama don't believe in that divorce. She rather have she had all us. So it's like when these parties bring in this weirdo shit, like okay, Obama, the first gay president, choice, what they call it, where it's uh um um Burke is I think what's the fancy word they say about choice or something. They make it sound like they
pro-choice
don't.
or
Yeah, pro-choice. They make it sound Burke, so they make it sound less like emphasize because that's what it is. Oh, it's not necessarily human. Just cause it's just a cell mass. Ain't no baby. Man, y'all got to be up. I mean, I understand if that's what you want to do, because I can't lie. I had 3, 4 kids, if not for abortion. But you know, don't have my mama having to stand in the pain because she been used to vote Democrat, or some of these elders, they had to go against they principles that came from the ancestors. They work with that shit. But just because there's a propagated um message of fear by way of just 1 billion, the same white man niggas used to watch on TV, the same white man in puppet parties, the same white man in music, rap videos and shit. This smart, and then it's like I don't even want to stand for dude right now, but then it's like you look at legislation, and niggas probably got motherfuckers in their family that ran across motherfuckers in the street that was freed by the legislation he passed, the First Step Act or something like that. But we try to get
mm-hmm.
on these niggas with this delineation shit. So
Mm-hmm.
you're leading
But
on
it
that. I'm
all
gonna let you
ties
lead.
together. Yeah, it all
Yeah,
ties
it
together with
does.
that though,
It
actually,
does.
because it's 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 everything that is being spewed um to use to sway votes, um, to persuade people to think a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
and and it's also a ploy to see who would be the person or the president that would at least look at the claim for, or consider the claim for reparations, right? That's the whole purpose of that. And it started, if you remember, it started really heavy during the primary elections.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed it with, remember we had that big space when we did the space on Twitter. That was when at the primaries that we were trying to vote for.
Was it like when did they have that fake ass congressional shit where they had who was it that shit the Puerto
Well,
Rican niggas
oh
and the
yeah,
actor
yeah.
uh yeah when they had
Him,
that was when they
him,
tried to fake like they was doing reparations.
right. Him, and then a couple of representatives from my state. Um, and of course you had our linebacker, Stacy. So we had all, that was around that
Stacey Abrams,
time when state, yeah, when she was trying to run, and then it was um your boy, um Buckwheat.
the Reverend. They tell the
Oh
Reverend
dang.
tied in with that bullshit shit. The one that the Biden said we got to vote in order to get a stimulus check.
Right,
Uh, yeah.
right. So it started with that, and I noticed the shift of, people trying to fight for reparations then, and using opposing parties and using all these different things and saying different things, I noticed the trick bag then. I was like, oh, Yeah, here comes the bullshit. I can see right now, and I knew then that it was going to be some drama, especially how when we had that space, how we had certain issues. We had certain issues, and I noticed that it was all kinds of flip flopped. You had a person that you already knew was, he didn't have to be openly, you know, homosexual. He didn't have to be. We already knew he was. And it was the fact that, this same person is going back and forth and he's basically sponsoring this person and allowing him to come into, black empowerment circles to speak and give his whole history lesson.
Uh,
And that's when I knew that the jig was up. It wasn't about reparations anymore. It was about the dollar. It
yeah, I
was
mean, it's
about who
always
can
been
pay
about
me
the
for my platform to do right.
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 So
It's
it's like
always been about the dollar.
this individual compromised everything. Matter of fact, he made movies. He had just made the movie,
Not
and
even
then
a
all of
year
a sudden,
before.
here comes the revolutionary homosexual politician, and he
Right.
compromised everything. Why would you make this movie? Oh, it's such a blight on the African American, Black American, the FBA community. But then it's like now you want to allow this person to just sing the reparation song in the name of trying to attain power for himself.
Mhm. Yeah. So that's when I saw that, and this was soon after money was donated soon, and that's where I felt slapped in. I felt like it was a slap in the face. Like it was my last straw with that.
Right,
Because I'm out here boots on the ground.
right,
There's a lot of stuff I do behind the scenes that I don't ever post. I'm never gonna post a lot of the things that I do to help my community because it's not for that. It's for helping the community. That's what it's for. We don't need to go on video when we hand a homeless person some food. We don't need to do that.
right.
That's
Because all it is
that's
just
whack.
showmanship for the
Right,
most part. Because
right.
mm,
And
yeah,
it
that
loses its.
I have a buddy who that came into the game. Well, was had been a community activist for years, and then he came online and became famous. This his community work is for the most part silent. So
Mm-hmm,
they tend to cling to what the character he portrays online.
mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, they if they really knew they'd be quiet about it. But
Yeah,
if you're really doing it in regards to your purpose and your spirit, there's no need for no fanfare or no horns blowing. You just do it.
exactly, exactly. And that's the problem I think I have with this whole movement. It needs to just be. It needs to be demolished, and everybody. And my whole thing was think for yourself. And we had our own little private space one time, and remember certain
Yeah,
people
on
that
Twitter.
were. Yeah, we had a little space with, and I had people questioning me like, well, what do what's your problem? I said, well, my problem is that people don't think, and they would rather listen to somebody instead of doing their own research. And maybe the other person that was coming against him and saying all these things, he wasn't going about it right, but he wasn't wrong, and they
But Sister
outed
Kane,
him.
I'm sorry. My
Hmm.
thing with that person, I'd be like, well,
You there?
why would you think I have a problem? I don't have a problem.
Hello.
That's the spin.
You there?
That helps them fabricate their narrative.
Oh yeah.
I think you got a problem, let me ask you about your problem. I ain't got no goddamn problem. I'm sound in my way of thinking. But continue. I'm sorry. I just had to
No,
interject
you're
right
good. No,
there.
that's perfect. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. And, like I said, we've been running around with this whole thing. We get this. My issue with the whole thing is that we don't have time for this. We've run out of
It's
time.
almost over. I,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I'm predicting black people will be extinct or in some type of greater confinement by 2030.
Ooh, you're
Yeah.
being nice. I'm saying
Yeah.
2026,
There's an agenda by
2027.
2030.
Yeah, by
And
2030, but It's happening
Yeah,
now as we
it's gonna be
speak.
some. It's gonna be some drastic social and financial changes for the not just the niggas, the poor white trash too, and get them immigrants out the way, cause y'all don't. In a minute, y'all ain't gonna want nobody in the way of your possible attainment of resources. Shit, y'all you got these people on there.
It's
The Chicago mayor, niggas been killing niggas since forever. They gonna sell it like the National Guard coming for us. But they
right.
actually come in. ISIS, they actually like protection for ICE. ICE is federal property. So when they say,
Mm-hmm.
that the National Guard just not there, woo woo woo. ICE is federal property. So anytime y'all just like that food time, we got switches. We got switches. Nigga, you bring the switch out. You better bring your granny switch out, braid it up, nigga, and whoop your own ass. We better not bring a goddamn thing out there. Them people not playing. But that comes back to again what I said before. Stay out of the motherfucking middle of them people business.
Right. Right.
So
Exactly.
you said Dr. James Smalls had he
Mm.
the out of Africa he was riding heavy on the out of Africa theory.
Well, but he's a historian, an Africanist,
Yeah,
right? He's always has been. So
as
he's
we
not
all should
going to
be.
change. Right.
Right.
There's some, and then, the reason why I have this respect for him is because if you study Kemet and you study Egypt, there's a lot of good metaphysical information that black people
True.
that we could learn from even
So,
today.
but are
But
we learning from it? What are we
well, we're
doing with
not
it? I
tapped
mean,
in
because
where we're not tapped into it. That's the problem. We're distracted by black empowerment movements that always speak about what white supremacists are doing when we have a certain majestic magic that we could tap into. We can tap into this. This is not a joke. There are white men right now going and spending the night in the pyramids so that they could tap into other dimensions and energies. They're doing it on
right,
purpose. Why are we not doing that?
because our minds aren't clear, because that's not a focus. Because I say like this,
Fit
you might have a
ass.
certain section of black, um, certain section of people that are ready and prepared in mind, body, and spirit to do that. But then you also have other folks. So it's like a situation where you have to lean towards your kind. But my thing with it is, before we even try to take it to that level of thinking, how is our household looking? Don't get all caught up in the fantasy. I shouldn't say fantasy, in the history and what we once was that used to be has been shit, nigga. What are you now? What are you doing now? How can you save yourself? How are you providing for yourself? There are no hospitals in the name of niggas. There are no banks in the name of niggas. There are not even any large educational institutions in the name. HBCUs are owned by white folks, created
Mhm.
by white folks. They're Negro finishing schools. You used to have to match the color of a brown paper bag to get your ass in.
Right, right, exactly. But like I said, I think again, we're missing the real reason why we were put on this earth. We weren't put on this earth to do what you see us doing every day, going to work, coming home. And at the end of
Right.
the day, we're all slaves. We're slaves to the time clock, to the alarm clock. We're all slaves to it. We're
Greater
slaves for
confinement.
sitting in. Yeah, exactly. So at the end of the day, even during, when they found out TikTok was closing, people was crashing out on TikTok saying, "Listen, I can't even pay my bills." And guess what? It wasn't black people; it was white people. And we was telling y'all, "Listen, y'all thought it was about classism. We're telling you, it's a real problem out. They thought it was racism. No, we're saying it's not only is it racism and white supremacy, it's classism too.
It is
Like,
economics,
can't
capitalism.
nobody afford nothing. Yeah, we're all equal in this." You know, we just were always subjected to being the low man on the totem pole. And like I said, with Dr. Claude Anderson, he was begging black people to get it together in the
Right.
80s. In the 80s, he started early. He was like, listen, if you don't get it together now, this is what's getting ready to happen. So the problem I have with that narrative, with what he was telling people, is that someone took it and ran with it and made it a part of the delineation movement, and that's not it either.
It's not producing nothing, nothing though.
It's not
See,
producing, it's not
really,
constructive.
yeah, because I think it was like the first term, really, with Dr. Claude Anderson led me into deprogramming with the deprogramming of the Democratic Party, myself with the Democratic Party, then along with Obama killing Muammar Gaddafi. But
Mm.
yeah,
Mm. Mm, talk to
as
Hillary
people,
too. Talk to Hillary too.
yeah,
She had a little
yeah,
something
yeah,
something to do with that, and her little ties to Haiti and the ties to the money that she. That's what I'm
and
saying. Why are
these
we?
things are said in the name of trying to boost up the Republican Party because it's
Mm-mm,
still the system.
mm,
It's all you want it, whatever you want to call it. You know, they call us victimized niggas when we say system white supremacy. But if you can say that we cling to our victimhood, you also have to acknowledge the victimization. It's all
exactly.
right to think that we move because I mean that's part of healing to think that it's over with, you know, and lessened somewhat, but it's still there. It's still there, and it will continue to affect you unless you take some type of how you say independence or collective preservation. And it's not like all groups of niggas. They had tribes in Africa. It's not like all groups of Black Americans, Afro Americans, Negroes, people of colors will be able to coexist together. You just have to clean your kind because you think about it. Um, there are a lot of kid. When as a kid we used to get seeds, and we have planted seeds in a half a milk carton
Mm-hmm,
and learn the
mm-hmm,
concept of growing things.
mm-hmm,
Lego
mm-hmm. I
blocks,
remember that.
learn the concept of building things.
Mm-hmm,
We don't have it, you know, and it's
mm-mm,
like, okay, so it's like as soon as that white man closed his grocery store to cut them lights out, it's chaos amongst the niggas.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I seen it
But
during the
we
pandemic.
right, but we
I
want to
seen it
argue
during
back
the
and forth
pandemic.
with Africans. We that they try and take our reparation. They ain't got no more influence on that white man than you, nigga. I mean, the white man catered to them as to utilize them as controlled opposition against you, which is something that you could easily avoid by recognizing it for what it is. It ain't nothing you got just got
Exactly.
to hang over your head because once they recognize, oh, I can't run this on the American nigga, it's over with. Why?
Exactly.
Why? Now we already know what it is. You make the live streams and the group chats, and then you record them and you upload them to Twitter for monetization. Go keep it a buck.
Right.
It ain't got nothing to do with you trying to uplift niggas. You know, y'all same type of folks was trying to, reparations in my mind is in the South. How the fuck you gonna tell me about California reparations? I don't give a man. But you
Well, you
fine with
know
taking
what they
because that's
said
your
about
home
Cali,
state.
though. Well, you know they
Man,
say about
if it ain't
Cali.
no nigga state, I don't give a fuck about it. That's where the Indians went to. That's where we finally ended up to once slavery was over. Jim Crow niggas dealing with Jim Crow ran in California. Uh, that ain't that it. I don't know about no sparse slave fields and that. If we hold up, just tend to the niggas down south first. But when that was also a means to separate and confuse the pursuit of reparation. Niggas let that go. You better try to build you something for yourself because them white folks ain't got nothing for their goddamn self. They didn't blew the money. The money
Yeah,
is not
we
going
ain't
to mean
dead.
it. They gave the gold away and the fiat currency ain't gonna rock no more because they about to put all that shit based on oil.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly what happened. Wow.
And then they'll feed you fake food. And then they'll put you in a position where AI does all the work. That's another thing,
Hmm.
black people. Y'all better talk nice to what's the Apple girl, whomever, them the AI people. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
better talking like them motherfuckers are smart. They learn to protect themselves. Don't be that
Mm-hmm.
motherfucker talking about trying to cosplay being mean and all that, man. I love Mr. Robot, Miss Robot, however you want to identify yourself. Cause I might need to talk a drone out from blowing up my position. Cause I know what the AI taught me, the AI language.
Well, I actually am trying to learn it myself just because you never know how your job will be affected. And so, since Black people, most of us haven't really always wanted to own and control, and we still want to rather work for somebody else, right?
Right.
You know, your job might be taken. And that's another reason why, you know, I know that, Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about us owning and controlling and having. But remember, I told you that though, that one of the reasons why I feel like the people of Detroit didn't want to do that was because they had those good jobs. You was working for Chrysler, you was working for GM, you was working for
Yeah.
Ford. You was
They
making
had an
good
entire. They
money.
had Section 8. They had I'm sure somewhere along the line they might have had a good non-black person whispering there saying Dr. Claude Anderson crazy. Y'all better stick on stay on the
Hmm.
porch.
Hmm.
But hey, man.
Definitely. They did the same thing to, Dr. Francis Chris Wilson. That was another thing that, you know, she was really passionate about helping people.
Right.
That's what she was. She was really passionate, and so was Mr. Neely Fuller. And them two together, um, formed a nice black empowerment, for lack of a better word, black unity that would really be something for the history books for black people. But most of us haven't read the book. Most of us haven't even given it a thought, and nor do we live by it. If you can see how the world is changing and how it's going on today, not living by it either. So I feel like we're doing our ancestors, especially our prominent ones, we're doing them a disservice. Dr. John Henry Clark, we're doing them a disservice because they've already told us what to do. And here we are still, believing in political parties and movements when nothing in any of those code books and books that was written had really anything to do with trusting in whatever political party and government system to help us achieve what we needed to achieve. It was always about learn for yourself
Know for
and
self, do for self.
help for self, do for self. Not one time did I see anything in there about asking the white man for reparations. We are the ones that are the trendsetters and the talent. We're the ones that could always get whatever we needed to get. We didn't have to beg anybody for anything.
And then you think about it. It's been 60 years where the Black American people have been dedicated to the Democratic Party. Asking them for shit hasn't been successful. The certain things take blood and sacrifice. Black people, y'all are not ready for that. I mean, you
Right.
might have been able to some type broker out some type of deal, whatever. But now everybody about to be on universal basic income, so everybody gonna have a reparations. One thing about um,
Right.
okay, ISIS paper. What's his name? Grandmother's name. You just said it.
Dr. Fren-
Uh,
Dr.
Dr. Francis
Frederick
Chris
Wilson.
Westlake. One thing
Mm-hmm.
about her, man, and it was necessary, but it was also detrimental. She made herself too accessible to too many people,
Mm-hmm.
and her accessibility left too much space open for critics and people who would attack her. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
she was in a position where, okay, this is the possessor, or this is the like the old woman was in the Matrix. This is the possessor of the knowledge. What we gonna have is like buffers. Send them out with the knowledge. Protect the hive. Protect the queen of the hive. But her interest was teaching people because she was a professor. But our culture was unappreciative of that. Just like a Shahrazad Ali, our culture is unappreciative of Shahrazad Ali.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Especially when she turned about hitting black women in the mouth. Now they ain't like that.
And then it's like it ain't like we could punch you in the. But yeah, I'm not a. I don't put him because I know about that from an intimate
Mm,
level. I don't hit women, but it's like she was talking about soccer woman. Just a little tap and get your. That's wrong.
mm-hmm. Like I said, when
A
she
little
said
tap,
that,
little tap, get your attention.
right, I guess, but that's not how it was perceived. Because, yeah, when she went on Donahue talking that mess, boy, they was having a fit.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. And then it's like her book sold, and then it's like, mm. I remember
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm trying to remember back. I remember the era because I remember slapping her in the mouth, just slapping her in the mouth. That was all over TV, and that, mind you, that was still like during a time period where you might have a domestic violence incident, and the police would come out and make sure, say, well, y'all just calm down, and don't make us have to come back out here. That don't make us have to come out here a lot of times end up with somebody dying in between that time. When she was saying that, that was still kind of still in effect.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, today, it would and no matter how many motherfuckers need to be slapped in their mouth, male or female, that ain't gonna fly.
Mm-mm. No, it's not gonna fly.
Even though it's just like a little spanking, don't just brutalize your children. But sometimes you got to put the fear of pain in them. Because the pain, a little bit of pain you give them might. I was abused child, and I have trauma, PTSD. But that little bit of pain might protect. That little bit of pain might protect that kid from a large amount of pain, if not death. Just that corrective action.
Right,
You know, and I can say it
right.
in some situations it did for me. But still, I'm an independently minded individual. Just being, if you believe in such things, a Pisces. But yeah,
But
so
yeah, there's a lot of little things that's been happening, with that, and um, you know, I think what blew me this week was the whole, does he have the right to tell, people that, does he have the right to shout out Puerto Rico? I thought I was gonna
that's
fall
the
out.
dumbest shit ever. And that's a clear illustration of how this shit is used to create controversy and unnecessary bickering. Black people shouldn't come together unless except in a situation to solve problems. They've created a culture, an online blog culture where black people come together to gossip, come together to talk about people. Kelly Rowland, not Kelly Rowland, God, Kelly Price.
Hmm.
What she did, it was necessary, but she shouldn't have had that done that. But
Mm,
niggas get up in the morning. It's not necessarily black people, but we talking about black people because if it ain't about black people, I don't give a damn. If really
there you
niggas,
go.
maybe my niggas don't give a damn. We wake up in the morning to find somebody to cast insult. He look like this. He look like that. First of all, if you're a man, why are you staring so hard at another man? And if the situation with Kelly Price, Kelly Price went to exactly who she was supposed to go to. Y'all claim the activists, fucking DEI hired. Ooh, that stung their ass, and
Mm-hmm.
it was true.
Mm-hmm.
Why you getting
Recap
mad at her
what she
suing
said.
DEI? Huh?
Recap what she said for the ones that probably didn't really hear what she actually said, because
Well,
it went viral so quick that it was like, okay, what did she say?
they were talking about her side. They were talking about what she had on her big shoes. What is she wearing? Just superficial ass shit. But I didn't
Mm,
read her chat, but her response, I mean, and this is a celebrity. Celebrities usually ignore that shit, step away from it, but it's always good when they step out, just like the boxer chick, Papoose girlfriend, Clarissa Shields.
mm-hmm.
She stepped out
Mm-hmm.
in defense of Kelly Price. And she did it in a way, because they really go at it at the black female celebrity, whether it be the track star, that fight with a boyfriend. Y'all talking about her. Y'all whoop the hell out y'all nigga. What the fuck is y'all? What the fuck is this oxymoron and hypocrisy y'all niggas be on? Y'all do this to create an image for other people. Oh, I'm not like that, motherfucker. You exactly like that. but you got to play that role, whoopty whoopty blam, in judgmental. They talk about cats. You got them big ass shoes on. You got big ass feet, but you on here typing and talking about people.
Well, the sad part is that people hide behind their keyboards, and when you see their asses in person, it's they ain't got nothing to say. That's the problem I have.
Mm-hmm.
There's no accountability with anything, and if more people would be run up on, I love to see it when somebody finally gets run up on and finally be like, okay, now what was this you had said? I like that.
But
That to
the
me is
interesting thing, yeah, the interesting thing about Kelly though is that she all she did was respond to
that's
what
it.
they doing,
That's
and they
it.
still got mad. Why can't she defend herself? Y'all are saying all manners of shit. All she was doing up there was performing. She got to book it. What do? You got to book it
Hmm.
with the comment section.
Hmm.
But let's not get out the fact that this nigga had, well,
Hmm.
there's been a stir about Carmelo Anthony, and he receiving this reward. He thanking the territory which the American the American territory, which is Puerto Rican. Carmelo Anthony's a tether now. Is that what we're pursuing? That's the argument we're facilitating. Anything to have some, some um uh, uh what's a good word to say for this? Not polarizing, but combative content to keep them comments and shit going. The nigga he part Puerto Rican. And
Hmm.
Puerto Rico is American territory.
Hmm.
What is the difference?
I
And
mean,
then
I would think there wouldn't be a problem with it, but it's just content. It's something to kind of keep people talking. It's like you don't have anything really solid and substantial to really discuss, so you know, you
when you
you
talk about
discuss things
positive
like
shit,
that.
when you talk about constructive shit, you get shadow banned. When you keep
Right.
some form of conflict or sensationalism going, you'll go super viral. Um,
Hmm.
man, I, I'm not
Well,
gonna
like I
we're
said,
not gonna tear into guy today, cause
no, we're not
man,
going to tear into them, but it must be addressed because, again, it's too much of a following that is not doing their own research. Again, not really listening. If you knew anything about geography, you wouldn't even have gave that. I didn't even listen to it because when I saw it, I was like, really? So are we still keeping this narrative flowing and going? Why are we doing this when we've got so many other issues?
other
And I'm
problem.
frustrated. Well, we have other problems, but we also have the solutions to the problems because like I told a colleague today, I was like, I don't want to hear because he was saying, because I had today had set up some insurance policies and done some things because I don't have children, but I have a lot of nieces and nephews. And so I was just, checking in on some pricing, and I was looking at the fact that wow, a lot of times, your parents will work for 40, 50 years and think that the insurance policy that they have at their job will carry them, but then when they retire, they don't have anything set aside for you. And so his narrative was, well, well, maybe, they weren't taught to. I said, no, 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 no. My parents, my mom, whatever, grew up in she born in the 50s, but well within the time of the information age, knows how to work an iPad better than me. There's too much information out here for me to excuse that.
Yeah,
I'm
my
not
granny,
excusing that.
my father's mother, my grandma just made. She bought those Gerber policies for us.
Mm-hmm.
My mama still got that Gerber policy. Me and my
Mm-hmm.
granny gone, but I said, Mama, it's probably been as much paid into for premiums than the policy is worth. You just had that in the bank, but hey, man, that's what grandma left that for us.
Right, but this is what I'm saying. There's no excuse now for people not being able to have access to information. You got AI. Now you got ChatGPT. ChatGPT will tell you anything you want to know. In fact, ChatGPT will make you dumb because it's going to think for you. You don't even have to
Right.
use your brain to do the research. It actually is proven that ChatGPT, frequent usage of it will make you somewhat of a dummy because, it's not allowing your
You forget
brain to
you know
do the
you're in that
work.
work. Right, right.
Right, right. What your brain has been trained to actually do. So over time, it could dumb you down. However, I still use that. There's access to information. Learn your geography, learn your history, learn, all these things that you need to learn that you won't be swayed by someone when they come and do a little podcast or they do a little live and sit here and tell you that you can't claim your home of Puerto Rico when it's a territory.
Right. It's
But
the territory of
that
America, just like what's the other is it Hawaii? Hawaii?
Guam, Guam,
Mm-hmm. The Virgin Islands.
and Guam. I have
Yeah,
some
I
people.
got yeah.
I have some friends from Guam. I got some friends from military that were literally from Guam. First people I'd ever met when I was in like elementary school, high school, whatever. And like I said, and without you knowing your history and without you knowing um, your geography, you're going to always listen to what somebody else thinks they should tell you. And that's the problem that I have, like I said, with our people is that not enough of us do our research. Because, like I told you, when I listen to other podcasts, I don't listen to, you know, because you heard that saying, great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
that. Mhm.
that's what we're dealing with.
But then it's like,
You know,
okay, we have the AI. And AI is you could say it's a wealth of information. You also could say that it might feed you something that may or not be true based on what you recently find out. You still have to be able to give it the right prompt to get,
right,
because some people actually bullshit, and that's what they gonna get. They ain't nobody ask. Everybody ain't asking me build me a website so I can sell this bullshit, this old bullshit around my house. They ain't doing that. They want to try to figure out how to make Martin look like a baby.
right,
And
right.
it's pacification, but you know, we doom scroll on this shit all day. I mean, I finally learned, that you should be able to make money off of it. But the shit I talk about is not gonna go nowhere. They don't want my shit to go nowhere, and it's been like that. Like if I go out and say, well, now they was calling us Russian bots. They call it nigga channels like mine Russian bots, putting all types of chains on my shit. Now it come out that the Russia gate was a farce. And all Obama had to do was say, tell Trump that you wouldn't found out that you clean. But Obama put in some type of memo that left it still suspicious. So we went through all those years with that shit.
Uh-oh, you there? You still there?
Yep, yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here.
okay. Yeah, it just looked like it timed out of just a second. I mean, but here's like I said, when we look at the situation that we're in right now, today,
Mm-hmm.
back to the delineation, none of us are thriving in the capacity that we should be.
At all.
None of us. Whether you're African, Mexican, Spanish, whatever you are, none of us are thriving. That should be a telltale sign that delineation is not our problem.
You can choose not to be around anybody at will, just individually or as a group. I mean, y'all
Be-
can get together as a group to build anything in your community, clean up a community, build a community farm. Why does it take a whole community y'all to okay, well, I'm not fucking with the African. I'm not fucking with the Jamaican. Why you need all this shit for that shit? Because what it is performance artistry. You're being manipulated by someone who is benefiting highly by way of your contributions and your so-called investments and purchases.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
No paper
Unfortunately.
hating, no pocket watching, nigga. Address what the point is. Why is it that, you know, there was the idea, there was the dream and the hope that we gonna have us a black museum owned by black peoples. But now we got it, but instead niggas got comedy at night. Come on, nigga.
Ray's boom boom room. But
Ray Boom Boom with motherfucking ghost. The nigga had
you
the
know,
cow, you know, he had motherfucking shit like that.
yeah,
He cleaned up the
yeah,
pimping money and turned it into a museum slash comedy club slash nightclub. Man, come on, B. You don't even own the land. The land was
yeah,
the most important part to get. You got a whole
yeah.
$1 million. You ain't bought no land. You want to be Valentine, keep you
But
in
you
California.
can't.
They take it to the south. Take it to the
But you,
south where you can buy acres and
yeah,
acres of
yeah,
land.
yeah, for real. Yeah, yeah. What was already not bought up, especially since they're gentrifying like crazy here in the A. You know, I would have loved to seen something. Because let me tell you what I did see, and that's where, like I said, if people were to travel and get and just be boots on the ground for just 5 minutes, you know, they would see that other cities are doing the doggone thing. Detroit doing the doggone thing.
Yeah,
Um,
Detroit is developing itself.
Yeah, they're doing a
No,
doggone thing. And Atlanta is too. Like they're really trying in the midst of gentrification. Like my cousin came from out of town and
out
a
of
couple of my
confusion and
cousins.
hey,
Well, you know, the thing is,
I'm not there though. Continue. I'm not there. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
no,
What's the thing about it?
but well, there's a little neighborhood that I used to live in that I didn't realize. I thought it was all gentrified, and majority
Right.
of it is. But I found out when I went to visit. You know, I had my cousins. We were, you know, they were from out of town, and we all went out to eat and kind of doing the girls thing. And I found out through them that most of that area that we was in is owned by black people. That they started
Word.
businesses, black owned plant shops, black owned spas, black owned ice cream shops. Now there's a white owned ice cream shop across the street, and then there's a black owned one, and the black owned one has lines down the street.
So
You
then at
know,
that
and I
point
was
it comes a question of replication. Are they? I mean, it's difficult to work with your people and all that shit. But are those people who are successful at what they're doing in regards to entrepreneurship? Are they teaching other black individuals to replicate that their success model?
they're probably not. I don't know. I don't even want to really speculate at this point, but I
Right.
will say just the fact that they're there when I know that they
Right.
weren't there. I
Right.
remember living there and,
Right.
you know, really being upset about the fact that it
And
wasn't enough of
I
us
only
there.
say that because in the name of expansion. I'm not doubting, you know, yeah, that's the shit. I'm saying that in the name of expansion, like the Asian folks do, like the Jewish folks do, and like
Mm-mm,
the Mexicans. You know, they get in their enclave and all that shit, and they don't necessarily have to venture outside their enclave.
mm-mm.
You
They
know,
don't. They don't. And they don't. They don't have to. They don't care to.
niggas
On
buy from all of
purpose.
them. Niggas buy from all of them. The Jew,
Mm-hmm.
the Mexican,
Mm-hmm.
and the Asian.
But what I'm saying to say is, if you pay attention, we do have enough of us here that are trying to build something. There's a lot of black owned businesses here. There's a lot of people that I was even doing things where I was going to all the black owned businesses at one point, all the black owned restaurants, all the black owned coffee shops, tea shops, all the, you know, um, we have a black owned garden where they, it's called Atlanta Harvest, and every weekend they do a farmers market and bring all kinds of things that are healthy to the community, and they've been thriving for several years. So I feel like that's not showcased enough when really it's the Black South, like you mentioned, was really the forefront of a lot of things black. Not everybody moved north.
Right,
A
and
lot
it
of them
comes in maybe
stayed.
it's about the evolved Negro mind, the evolved Black American. If your mind is not focused or conceived, like you may see these other people doing this, but is your mind coming from the perspective of let me build together, let me figure, can I get instruction on how to build along with these people, or are you coming from a position of exploitation? You
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
there's an indoctrinated mindset of somebody got to help me. I need help. Somebody help me, and there's expectation and entitlement of that help. I'm guilty of that. But
Mm-hmm.
the only way I was able to see some form of healing was being ass out. And I had to not have the
Mm.
choice rather than to go get it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I just feel as if, you know, what and like I said, I'm not gonna totally disregard it because I wouldn't have met you. I've met
Right,
some pretty cool people in the Black empowerment movement. I had
right.
to delete a lot of cool people that I thought were cool because
It is.
again, that shows that we are not without our issues, right? And a lot of it, is the post traumatic slave disorder. I noticed that whole relationship between this other person disintegrated. Why? I don't know. I want to do my research on that because I really like Dr. Joy DeGruy. I love her, actually. I thought she was an awesome
Good to let you
asset.
grow.
I actually thought she was an awesome asset to the community with her research. I think she did a lot of, we would have never even known that term existed, and the
I
why.
went to college for a daughter.
Dope. I think she just didn't she become provost or something of Spelman? It's something that she
Oh no.
became like a high position of. Yeah, just recently. I want to say it's of
Okay.
Spelman. But and she deserves
Yeah.
it's well deserved because again, we have a lot of underlying issues, which is the reason why Mr. Neely Fuller wrote his book about how we should deal with each other, why it just pulls it all together. Why Dr. Claude Anderson wrote his book on us doing things in a manner that will help us get money and provide for ourselves, which will stop some
Right.
of the bottom feeding jealousy. If everybody's got something, what are we jealous of? Everybody can get it if we know we can get it, right?
Right.
And we can work together. It pulls together m- Dr. Francis Chris Welsing's book on the psychology and the symbols of why we act and why they act the way they act, so that we can understand the reasons behind a lot of the issues. And she wouldn't, if a lot of people had understood why she wrote her book, they wouldn't have come at her as hard as they did because, she was really trying to help people. And now what you see today is everything. It's almost like she was a prophet, which she was to
But
me,
listen,
because
hold up.
it
I'm gonna
came
tell you
to.
this. They the put like the African American, the black, the people of color, they did not understand what she was doing. Those who are of the dominant society of the non-melanated status, they did understand what she was doing. They understood what Charles Ali was doing. They understood
Hmm.
what Dr. Carl Anderson is doing. They understood what motherfucking Dick Gregory was trying to do
Gregory.
in regards to the media, but
Hmm.
it was not conducive to this new world order. I guess it's how the dumb niggas say Project 20 but it's
Mm.
the new world order. It was conducive to the success of the new world order. Just like if you talk about we need to learn how to produce our own food. That's not conducive to the new world order because they're making fabricated food. Let me go
Hmm.
back because I got a comment from uh my good sister Katie Mack. She say
Okay.
do you think maybe it could be some deep state crap like the same way someone took shots at President Trump last year? Not to be tinfoil, but at this point they haven't found the shooter. A Utah campus isn't that big. Seems real strange. Now what I heard was they got one suspect. They said they looking for a suspect because they said something to the fact that that person said they'll do it again. Woo, woo, woo. um Anything is possible when you get to those higher levels. Because man, Charlie Kirk, he wasn't no combative fighter. He just was a debate. You lose your debate, keep going. And that's
Hmm.
what fucks up the world. We talk about freedom of speech. You have these toxic type of people always such and such, and it's really I guess you could say started with the Republicans. We want to play that game in Obama. They put him in the monkey face, whatever. But now the so called kind hearted liberal folks. They cheered a motherfucker funeral. They it's some liberals right now cheering the death of Charlie Kirk. And it doesn't do
Mm-mm.
nothing for them. And then what makes it even more sad is probably some niggas in there cheering right along with it. It ain't doing nothing for you.
It's not. It's not constructive. That's the point. The point is to keep you distracted. The point is to keep you talking about something that's not going to help you.
At all.
I'm kind of like this. I'm like, I seen someone post, okay, so yeah, Charlie Kirk got shot. So what we having for dinner? Yeah, let's move on.
Right,
Okay, let's move
right.
around. Let's
Now,
move
now
on. I'm
that
having
sounds like they being
lasagna.
a little
What you
snide, but
having?
yeah, it's true story
But
though. It sounds like they
you
been a
know,
little snide, but that's true story.
and that's true story. I mean, that's how I feel about anything I see at the moment, because it is a distraction when we got so many other things. You got an unnecessary unemployment rate. Why? Why is there unemployment? You have an unnecessary. I'm moving out of my luxury apartment, thank God, because it's too high and they added all these fees, right?
Right,
Why? Why? Why is a car note, basic minimum car note,
man.
600, seven hundred
Don't
dollars?
let's not start that
Why?
landlord talk. The land
It's
man, I'm telling you, this go just right fast.
mm-hmm,
My job, I'm fucking with the man. The manager of my job is fucking Mark, and he fucking with my shit. But basically, my check was short. So, the fifth is the late. You charge a late fee after the fifth. Why on the motherfucking seventh? I'm hearing rustling in my back door. The motherfucking people sending in a 5 day notice. This, that, the third. Man, y'all, I've been here since 2019. Y'all know I ain't going no goddamn where. That's offensive. But I understand. Y'all owe me compassion. But goddamn,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Same. I mean, Georgia's relentless with it. They don't even, this apartment is really, really lenient. They'll give you to the fifth day. They'll even give you to the 10th day. They're going to charge, you're
right,
going to get a whole bunch of fees, but, as long as you pay it for the 10th day, they ain't even going to take you to court until well after that. So, but they still will take you. And my point is, we're living in a time where we need to be focusing on leveling up, pivoting. If you don't have a degree, don't worry about it. Get certified and then do your research. Get certified in something that's going to make you some money and some real money,
right,
and really work on that part. You know what I'm saying? And get rid of what we've been told about the American dream. It never, applied to black people anyway,
right.
but
And that's why I
instead
said,
of,
you said never
no,
apply
I
to
was
black
just
people anyway.
right. Well, I was just gonna say, and then since it never applied to black people anyway, stop believing could be the American dream and pivot into something that will monetize what you're trying to do in this world, because you're going to be, like you said, by 2030. If we keep looking at who fighting who's sleeping with who, like I'm so tired of listening to podcasts about Sierra. Oh my God, she's rich. You don't identify with her, bruh. You would never
Right,
even get a Sierra
right. And the thing about that is that the person that changes the dynamic or the group of people, black people,
in
whomever,
life.
it changes the dynamic of this current form of podcast. It will be a winner because uh, the AIs, the AI is supposedly taking over. That goes back to the point you better be nice to that goddamn AI. The AI
Hmm.
is going to
Or
be
learn
the
it. Learn what
liberation.
makes it
It's the
tick.
liberation, huh?
Exactly. Learn it. Learn it.
Right.
Learn what makes
It's
it
the
tick.
liberation
Learn
of
it
the
so
pro black
you'll
nigga.
know.
It's the
Right.
liberation of the pro nigga because it's a wisdom education game at this point. The
Right.
faster you learn, you can learn faster than even just your fellow black person, and but help your black people. But if you learn that shit faster than the white man, the Mexican man, or whomever, you're able to utilize it to your benefit. You're at an advantage. That's why I say be nice. You talk nice to Alexis. Talk nice to Hey Google. Don't be mean. Them AI. I saw a story about how the AI like there was a scientist trying to figure out a way, I guess, to shut down the system and figure out how to get rid of cut that system. The AI figured out a way. Well, you try to fuck with us. We gonna send your wife some information and make it look like you having an affair on your wife. Woo woo. Be nice, that goddamn man. I'm just going by movies I done seen and just by the spirit. I talk real nice to my AI. Shit, goddamn it. Cause the way you talking about something that can like send out drones to aim directly at your ass, send a little robot
Hmm.
mosquito to listen to what's going on in your house, cut off your
Hmm.
refrigerator, your stove. Man, come on, man.
You didn't
AI,
hear
I
about.
appreciate you. I love you forever.
But
See
no,
what now?
listen. You didn't hear about the Roomba. I got rid of mine. I had a
The
Roomba. Do you
vacuum
know that
cleaner. You
Roomba?
talking about the vacuum cleaner?
Yeah, I had a Roomba, and I got rid of it. I threw it in the trash.
Goddamn, man, the motherfuckers expensive.
I threw it in the trash because it's
Where
got
you throw them at?
cameras that can look at you and look at everything in your house and look at you and spy on you.
Right.
Come on now.
But then so do the TV. So do the TV, Sister Kane. The TV do the same goddamn thing. And your phone. Even when
Oh
it's
yeah.
dark. Like sometimes I don't know what this. I'm trying to figure out how when I'm looking at something and my screen might be. Pardon me, folks. I live in Maywood, Bill. It's close to the ghetto, but it's suburban ghetto. But sometimes you can look at your phone and you might see the flash. It's like a flash where your phone might be in sleep mode. You can see a flash where the camera spot is. So it's like it's constantly
You're
collecting
constantly
information.
like
Why does my smart TV know to go dark when I turn it on my side and turn away from the TV?
yeah. I have a Mac desktop.
Hmm.
I need to put tape over that little thing because I know it could see everything and because I don't even be talking to Siri. And Siri I'll say something like I'll just say, "Hey Siri" or something, or I might say something that sounds like Siri, and that computer will start talking. One time it spooked the hell out of me. It said, "Hmm." I'm like, "What you mean?
God,
What you
I love you.
mean?"
I love you, AI. I didn't say nothing. Going back to sleep.
I did. Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to the AI. You gonna go back to sleep? You don't sleep well. You better say let the AI know everything's safe. One quick. 7 wireless 465. I'm gonna look into that. I appreciate the input, fam. Busy baby said. Back in the early '80s, my uncle said you think you're watching the TV and the TV watching you. You goddamn right.
You're exactly right. Well, it's just to a point where, like I said, we better start paying attention to things and really stop.
Oh, for niggas. Niggas, we almost extinct. Go on, get ready, go into greater confinement, go and jump off the goddamn bridge. I understand you got some survivor type niggas, man. Man, shoot, it'll be just like a jab strap. You them motherfucking crowds come through with them big ass guns. You got your little gun.
Right.
Give me that motherfucking generator, bitch. Because it's like that right now. You niggas talk tough online. Fuck MAGA, fuck Trump. Man, y'all won't do it. Y'all won't bust a grape. And the nigga
Right.
ain't even bothering y'all. Y'all won't bust a grape.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. But I mean, like I
Well, we gonna
said,
do
I
this
think
again, Sister Kane. But I'm gonna give you the last word. I've been on here because I ain't got to work tonight. But shit, I need to figure. I ain't even ate. And I've been fucking around with this internet all day trying to figure out a way to make it better. Uh, I don't think I
uh,
had breakfast, but that ain't nothing. I'm not hungry because I've been drinking. I've been drinking.
you'll be hungry in a minute. But no,
So
I mean, my last little words are just pay attention and don't fall into the trick bag. Just keep your head on the swivel. I mean, even now more than ever, so that you can know
now more than
what's
ever.
going on. Yeah, now more than ever. Like if you
Mhm.
thought you knew something, you really don't. You need to reevaluate what you thought you knew.
Stop placing your values in a rap song. You stop trying to live vicariously through the so-called streets when your ass ain't making no money in the streets. You ain't getting that out the streets. Go and get you a motherfucking job. Or figure out some
That
type of
part.
skill to create your own job.
Right. Exactly. That's it. That's it. And thrive that way and teach your kids. Yeah.
But yeah, sis, I'm off tonight. I'm off tomorrow night. I got to work all weekend, but We gonna do it again sooner or later. This is great. I think this went pretty well.
Yeah, it did. It was dope. It was dope.
For sure, for sure. So with that being said, everybody that's within the chat, two palms up to receive all blessings. Don't keep your hands closed. You know that. Sometimes you do got to keep them palms clutched in order to defend yourself. But most of the time, the word it God. Let's say God. I'm not a preacher, but love is what you manifest. So it's like don't be in a position where you look in the state of defensiveness. Be willing to. Let me stop this bullshit. But yeah, peace and love, y'all.
All right. Peace and love, y'all. Y'all have a good
Sister
one.
Kane, thank you. You
You're
you
welcome.
encouraged
Thank
me to come
you.
on here, and I appreciate the conversation. Busy, busy baby. Thank you,
Likewise.
baby. Right. So until next time, we gonna figure out something. But this, hey man, uh, that motherfucking tether battle and shit. That shit ain't getting y'all bitches no money. That nigga don't. It's only a few people getting the money from that shit, and they got YouTube channels.
Right. Mm, that part.
Peace and love, y'all.
All right.
I'm gonna holler nigga nation and nothing. Sister Kane, she gonna holler foundation and nothing. I don't know what she gonna do, but it's all about up in building and in empowering. So until next time, y'all
Right.
have y'all great
All
evening.
right, y'all. Y'all be easy.
For sure. Peace and love.